All right, welcome back. Even though this is the first episode, I think I'm going to call it the Senkyoushi sit down.
Okay, I like that.
The Senkyoushi sit down. Let's call me Hana-chan because Burawa, if you erase the 1010 or from far away on my name tag, it looked like Furawa.
Flower.
So people were like, Furawa choro.
Saucy.
I was like, hi, Hana-chan. So
Hana-chan.
I was Hana-chan. So welcome to the Senkyoushi sit down. This is Hana-chan, and today my guest is known by a lot of things. Let's say Kyte Gas, Kaito-kun, Gasu Choro. What else?
What else?
Dad, husband.
Yep.
All those things.
Probably a few bad things on the mission, but we'll get into that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'll hope that most people have a good impression.
Yeah,
of
I
you.
hope so.
Well, I think the goals, we've been joking, kind of setting up this whole time that I've wanted to do this and I don't have a script or anything set up necessarily. And honestly, I'm happy that you're the first one because I think we can roll with this together.
This is raw footage, raw audio. We're just going for it. You get the real deal here.
Raw dogging.
Raw dogging.
Yeah. Anyway, I think our setup turned out really sick.
It looks good.
This is my place of business. And we rearranged the furniture in the foyer and
Looks great.
it looks pretty sick. But my goals are, it's been 10 years, pretty much.
10 years?
Yeah, so I did 14 to 16 was my mission, November 14 to 16.
I was 15 to 17.
Okay. So yeah, 10 years since you left on your mission. And
Yeah.
I've been kind of curious what people are up to. I'm curious about, mostly it started with wanting to know how active people still are.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly,
and that's all over the place.
Yeah, I'm just
That's
really curious.
Crazy.
Plus, I have a lot of friends from the mission that I haven't reached out to in years, and I think that this would be a fun opportunity. I can get them on like Zoom and try to record audio that way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's probably how most of them will go, but since you're a St. George native.
We're local.
And we're local here, I think this will be a good first one. But I want to know how mission life changed your life, what your life was like before, during, after, where you're at now, and just kind of catch up. As friends, we've crossed paths more than most of my other companions or people that I'd want to talk to.
Yeah, sweet.
So this will be fun, but
Yeah.
that's what we're here to do.
All right, let's do it.
Happy 10 years since
10
your mission,
years.
bro.
Was there a reunion for 10 years?
I don't know.
I think there might have been,
Maybe.
but it's so hard to keep up. Not like I don't hate everyone on the mission, but I just,
Screw those
I know
guys.
we're in St. George and
Yeah.
the thing's probably up in like Kaysville or Salt Lake area where.
Yeah, so I went to one a couple years ago. I think it
Oh.
was like, maybe it was even in like 2020 or 2019 or something. I think it was
okay.
like Egan Kaicho and Shimai's coming back
Yeah.
reunion or something. I ended up there and
That
saw
was
some people.
Kaysville, right? I don't know.
It's been a while.
It's far away, and when you got a family, it's it's hard to go up for a few days.
Yeah, I have felt like living down in St. George, I've kind of secluded myself just generally from like all the old friends I used to have. I had to basically start a new life down here, and mission people are mostly from Utah, let's say, but like or they're northern Utah. So down here, it's just us, bro.
It's a rare breed
Yeah.
down here.
And honestly, I'm happy to live in St. George. I think this is the right place to be.
Yeah,
and
good life.
I don't want to be up north. Every time I drive up there, I'm like, yuck.
Yeah, same, dude.
My parents still live in Kearns, Utah, so
Yeah.
we travel up there to see them.
Yeah, my mom's from Provo, so we go up there once in a while. But my wife, Chloe, we're always just like, it's fun for a day or two and not to live.
And
We've tried that.
I mean, yeah, St. George summer, which we're in right now, is pretty tough, but I've been through enough of them to where I'm acclimated.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
it's
You just
brutal.
get used to it.
The sun, definitely, it's pretty crazy, but you get used to it.
Mm.
I'd rather take the sun than snowing every day. And
Yeah. It just gets so gloomy and gray and gross
I
when
can't
everybody's
do it.
cars are like driving on the snow and it just piles up and it gets all.
Dude, it messes
nasty.
with you. Like, yeah, I know what you mean.
I had to shovel myself out before going to school enough times to know that that wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Yep.
And some people love it. So
Yep.
more power to them. More power to
Yeah.
us living here.
Yep.
And shoot, dude, let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Kaito-kun, man. I mean, tell me what your name means in Japanese.
So Kai, obviously, ocean, and To would be like a constellation, like the stars, ocean stars or whatever, however you want to interpret that.
Wow, pretty neat.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I was born in Japan, and that's what they gave me because I was born in Yokosuka in Kanagawa-ken.
No idea where the hell that's.
Yeah, it's like an hour south of Tokyo.
If it wasn't in my mission, I don't know where it is.
Hour south of Tokyo.
Got
I
it.
was just born by the ocean, and that's the kind of image they got out the window.
Okay.
Like, out of the hospital.
Bro, that's actually sick.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. No one, Kyte here means totally.
Oh yeah, you're the
It's
thing that
pretty
flies
lame,
in the
dude.
sky.
Honestly, it's
No.
not as cool. But
No.
yeah, we go with it.
I dig it. So you've got, for lack of holding back my words, a white dad and a Japanese mom.
Yep.
And I mean, dive into that a little bit. We don't need to hear your whole life story, but
Well, they actually met in, I think, St. George of all places. At that time, my mom was kind of looking into the church, and I don't know the whole story exactly, but it was kind of a sealed deal, as my dad wanted to marry someone in the church. My mom was living with a Mormon family, and just kind of happened like that. They got married in the temple.
how old were they?
Oh,
Was she like here, like doing a student trade type thing?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
kind of, and I want to say mid to late 20s.
Okay.
I'm so bad. I never keep up with family.
The details are
Yeah, it's
okay. But they got married here, and then you were born in Japan. So how did they go from here to Japan?
so my older sister and my older brother, Meg and Sheen, they were born here in St. George. My dad ended up teaching English right around the time I was born in Japan.
Okay.
I only stayed there for like 6 months and then came back to St. George.
So wait, are you like a dual citizen or something?
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
sick. You got a Japanese visa?
Yeah.
Oh man.
In case things go crazy,
That's
we can dip.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So born in Japan, came back, and you've lived your whole life in St. George, Utah.
Yeah.
Okay. So St. George, Utah, little Kyte grows up and basically decides to go on a mission, or somebody decides for you. Let's get into that.
Yeah, we can talk about that. So my dad at the time, and my stepmom, my mother, they basically said, "Hey, we'll support you either way. If you want to go to college, then awesome. If you want to serve a mission, that's good too. We'll like financially help support you either way, whatever decision." And I thought that was awesome, kind of crazy, because most, or I wouldn't say most, but some parents are like, "Hey, you really need to go
mission
on a mission
or else." Sure.
Yeah, and my dad's always been supportive in any decision I made. His kind of thing is, you're an adult, make your own decisions and grow from it, and find out what happens. And so said, "Yeah, let's do the mission thing." So my
your dad is a homie.
he's
I've
a homie,
met him,
he's
and,
a bro.
and we'll get into that. But yeah, I've met your
Okay.
dad, and he's a good dude.
Yeah, so he actually served in Tokyo.
Okay.
My sister served in the Sendai mission.
Okay. Sheen.
And then Sheen, my brother, served in Kobe, and I'm the youngest.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, I'll turn in my papers.
I'm getting a mission call to Japan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I thought. And yeah, I got my call to Fukuoka, Japan. And
When you opened it, did you say the F word, or
oh no,
You knew
because
how to
I
say
knew
how much Japanese did you know growing up? Any?
not too much. My
Okay.
mom, it was kind of a pain for her to go back and forth, I think. And like every time we would be like, "Hey, let's only speak Japanese today," it would last like 10 minutes.
Oh.
And so it was just an English household.
Okay.
So most of my learning was in the MTC.
But did you know like hiragana, katakana?
No.
Okay.
No.
So basically you started from zero, like
yeah, just
every
like
other white.
every other white
kid.
guy out
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Okay. So decide to serve a mission. I think it's maybe important to talk about your conviction of the gospel at the time, if we went that far, because you said that they weren't really pushing you, but this was mostly your decision. Did you have some experience, or what would you say tip the scales for you to say, yep, mission?
I never had like a light bulb moment ever. My decision was that I felt like it was the right thing to do. Like morally going out to Japan, teaching people about the gospel. I thought it was the right thing to do. And there was never a moment where the Spirit hit me and was like, hey, you need to serve. It was always kind of in the back of my head. And I thought, yeah, let's do it. 2 years is, how bad could it be, right?
Little did you know.
Right.
No, I'm putting words in your mouth. Don't let me say it.
No, that's good.
How old were you when you left?
18.
Okay. So there was that like missionary boom. You were part of that when they changed the age and it pushed 18.
I think a year above, or a year or two above me, was when like they made the announcements. And I was probably a couple years after that.
So you graduated high school, and how soon after were like on a mission?
I graduated high school when I was 17, and then let's see, I went in March, so that's almost a year.
Okay.
Almost a year after I graduated.
This graduation's like May something.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a freaking fun year too. I won't get into that, but that was a good time. And I was still like going to church and stuff, and trying to read scriptures, getting ready to go on a mission. That was a pretty fun time.
Okay. So Kyte goes to the MTC. Any notable MTC off the top of your head experiences or fun things or highlights?
It was more of a culture shock than Japan was. Like some of those guys are freaking nuts. Like in my district,
the people in your doki, or the people like your teachers, or everybody at the MTC?
Okay. The teachers were actually really cool. Doki, that's like my class. Yeah. Like in my district, some of those guys were just, and I can't even remember their names. They were kind of weird.
So were you.
I was weird too, and that's how it is. But it was my first time in my life where I just had to deal with people or someone, because that's what the rule is. In high school, if I thought I didn't necessarily get along with someone, I would just keep my space from them, and everything was cool.
Nope, you get mated together. Who was your
mated?
Shout out to your MTC companion, who was
Elder Proudfoot.
Elder Proudfoot.
Do you know him?
Yeah, he went to Fukuoka, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was an awesome companion.
Good for you.
We got along good. He's somewhere from California. I can't remember.
Elder Proudfoot. Shout out, bud.
He was cool.
Okay. So MTC culture shock. Anything else notable about the MTC that's worthwhile?
I honestly like some really cool spiritual experiences in there. Hearing speakers and stuff. But then again, it's like when you're just surrounded by it, that's all you can kind of think about,
Sure.
Yeah.
No, when you got blinders on, and they're spiritual blinders, it's a good time.
It's like whiskey glasses,
Yeah, whiskey glasses for the gospel.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about whiskey glasses. No, I feel the same. That was, I think, the beauty of the mission, if I'm to like interject a little bit of my experience.
Yeah, go for it.
It just, when you have those mission blinders, those spiritual blinders on, it's a good time, because you don't got to worry about nothing else, and you just get to like try to open your heart and mind to the gospel, and let in any little thing. And then let's say the MTC has some spiritual oomph to it, and so when people come in, and they're church leaders, and I think it was, maybe it was Hope of Israel was the song that we sang. You get together a lot, and then they have like a speaker, like David Archuleta comes or whatever.
Yeah, we never had that. But
get wrecked. Why?
We never had anything.
Why?
I can't even think of a speaker that I can remember.
Oh man, we like
David Archuleta?
Yeah.
Bro, if you could look back at that and just be like, well,
Bro,
you're going places, dude.
Dang, that sucks. Yeah, we would like get together and that's crazy. Maybe that was something with your like 18-year-old mission boom. They changed things up or something.
I don't know.
It was like once a week or once a month there was a big like meeting and a bunch like the whole MTC got together.
We did have that. We had speakers, but not anything notable that I could like remember.
Oh, I was there for Thanksgiving, Christmas and New Year's. So maybe they treated us nice.
Okay, yeah, here we go.
Anyway, the story I was saying was we sang like Hope of Israel, I think.
Yeah.
And I was basically a little further from you from the organist.
Oh, hell yeah.
And we were like singing, and then the missionary, bro, I'm getting goosebumps about it right now. The missionaries just started singing louder and louder.
Oh,
and I'm watching the organist, and she's like looking behind her shoulder and stuff.
Scared.
And before the last verse, she click, 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 pulled out all the freaking like stops on the organ.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
just
knew it.
wailed on it, bro.
Dude, missionaries sitting at their
You're just like,
seats.
oh, bro.
Just
dude, it was
hype.
awesome.
Missionary hype.
So, dude, I got freaking goosebumps. Gonna cry about it. It's so
Oh, yeah.
sick. Anyway, yeah, that was cool. That was one of my favorite MTC experiences.
Oh, yeah.
And just goes to show, I don't know if I heard Hope of Israel today, if I'd be like, you know. But when you're in the MTC and you're surrounded by all these people who are just like spiritual and serving Jesus and got his name on their chest, and that song comes on and they're singing it with all their might, bro, that was cool.
Dude, like if that's what you live in, then that's what you know.
No, I think there's something to be said about Utah culture too.
Yeah.
Utah culture and Utah Mormons or Utah members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are a different breed because I think you're kind of raised a little bit more narrow-minded.
Yeah.
I don't mean to say that in a negative way, but
that's just
true.
how it is.
And it's nice because if people can stay in Utah and stay in that, oh man, it's great. It's great. They live great lives and they're great people. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
MTC, you leave the MTC, fly to Japan. You've been to Japan in your life before this?
Quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was not a big culture shock for you, stepping off the plane and being in Japan.
Yeah, I was stoked. Yeah.
Okay. Well, roll into it. I think 2 years in Japan, I want to get into where we crossed paths.
Yeah.
Because this was in the last, so I went to Okinawa. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. You can jump back. I moved to Okinawa the last 6 months of my mission.
You died there.
I died in Okinawa, and that's where we met, was in the 4-man apartment above the Kamikiri House in
the barbershop.
Yeah. So run it back. You're in Japan. Any notable companions or fun stories that are worth saying before you get to where we cross paths in Okinawa?
Yeah, we'll talk about my trainer,
Great.
Caden Johnson.
Caden, oh, bro, shout out to Caden. He's definitely going to watch this.
He's definitely going to watch this.
I'm going to send this to him personally.
Sweet. He
was your trainer?
Yeah.
Oh,
he was my dad.
That's awesome. Okay.
And I think he was Bean-chan, so he was in Greenie. I forgot what we say in English.
Yeah, Bean-chan. Bean-chan's good.
Bean-chan. And then he was a trainer right after that, I think.
Well, because he was, forgive me.
You guys are Doki?
Yeah, I think we
Same
are.
class.
But he was like Japanese Doki. So I was there for 9 weeks.
So he went.
And he came in for the last 2 weeks and he was like, bro, I don't know anything. And
like
then
Japanese terms of gospel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he trained right after he was
being a Bean-chan.
Yeah. Elder Hunsaker, I think, and Shimonoseki. And then he left, and then he got me for 2 transfers. We had a ton of fun. We were definitely not obedient, but we had a ton of success. Like I'll give us that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain your success. What's is there somebody you met or an experience that you guys had together that was like, okay, cool.
I mean, we were just talking to so many people, had a ton of lessons. And I guess the mission word for success would be kind of like, lessons and contacts and all that stuff. But yeah, it was solid. My companion after that was a guy named Elder Flippo. Do you know Elder Flippo?
I recognize his name.
Okay.
I couldn't line him up and say you're Elder Flippo. Right.
Yeah. He could watch this and like, I don't feel bad saying this. He agrees probably. He was freaking strict. Like he was way strict. So I look back and think, oh man, that was a tough companion, but he was a freaking hard worker. And
so you went from Johnson as your trainer to Elder Flippo?
Total 180, dude. Smack. Yeah.
You were ready to have fun and you're like, hey, new companion. He's like, shut up. We're doing our weekly planning and we're getting to work. And you're like, yes, sir. Okay. I'm pretty new.
I'm new.
Did Johnson train you your whole training?
For 2 transfers.
Okay. I think that's your whole training. So you were a full-fledged missionary and got Elder Flippo.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing because Elder Johnson, he didn't know what he was doing. And if he did know what he was doing, we were not doing it right. I mean,
well, this is where like the mission fuzz happens. Being strictly obedient is the right way. But if you're being strictly obedient, in my experience, that felt a lot like it was interpreted as knocking doors by a lot of missionaries.
Yes.
And that is not successful in Japan.
I 100% agree with that. And that's something we could talk about. Like that, I had a huge problem. Like when I think back and if someone asked me like, what was your biggest struggle? Like numbers and knocking doors. You're not, if you have 6 hours of availability in your stupid schedule, and that's like every day, dude.
Bro, I knocked
like every
some doors, man. It's like, what do we do? We're going over here. My whole mission, transfer after transfer, area after area. I would knock the whole area and then I'd hit the point of like, oh man, if I'm here another transfer, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I would transfer. So it was great. Okay. I got to knock the whole freaking place and meet every single person that lived in that area.
Yeah.
And they were all Inaka, so it wasn't very many. And then, by the time I was done with the area, I moved on. So it was kind of convenient.
That's money.
I didn't overstay a place, which is good. So.
Jeez. But yeah, do you think like, because your district leaders and your zone leaders, they're constantly calling you, asking how you're doing. But at the same time, they're going to be like, yo, Elder, hey, I noticed your contacts are, not, meeting the quota. Skoshi, yo, come on, dude, And that for me just that kind of grind my gears a little bit, kind of icked me,
Yeah, I think I want to answer this simply, but my mind's kind of racing. So I went on my mission later. I was 21 when I left on my mission.
Yeah.
Went from 14 to 16, November 14 to November 16. I was older. I had like an associates. I knew how to like live with companions and stuff. But as far as the gospel and like knowledge of it, I was a baby.
I was learning too.
Yeah, I came into the mission just like pretty much ready to follow all the 19-year-olds around me.
Oh, shoot.
And what that looked like was, I just accepted the rules as they were.
Yeah.
So if my companion, my trainer was like, yep, weekly planning, we're done with that. And the next thing we do is we knock doors. And we knock doors and we don't get creative. We don't necessarily do that. Knocking doors is missionary work, and this is how it is. And I was like, cool, knocking doors, missionary work, got it.
Yes, sir.
I'm here to learn from you. White handbook, got it. Sick. Yep. So to me, I liked the numbers and was structured by them early on in my mission. And later on in my mission, when I started to realize just how much I was trying to dig, I don't know what mental thing, but it just felt like I was trying to dig a hole in sand, knocking doors. It's like, I'm not getting anywhere. There's no success. Like there's nothing. And then it was like, okay, now it's time to think a little broader, try to expand a Kaiwa or, go to the local like place and play ping pong and just try to like drum up conversation with people and just become friends. And then maybe the gospel comes up, started to get a little bit more creative there. And towards the end, I did get a little bit of ick, specifically because I got a call from, it was either the zone leaders or the APs when we had like a smashing week talking to people. Because in a district meeting or something, we were like, we're going to hit it.
Yeah.
Our whole team's going to hit it. We're going to really like go for it. We might have even set a goal to hit like, I don't know, so many contacts in a week or something. That was crazy. And so we all just smoked contacting people. And then the zone leaders or the APs called us and was like, hey, great job. And it was like, we got no more lessons than we did any other time. And we just like freaked the crap out of so many people by being on our bikes, being tall white kids with freaking pearl white helmets.
Oh, those
coming down the road
so
and you stop on your bike and you, hey, have you ever heard about, you know, and like,
Choto ii desu ka?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Keko desu.
Keko desu.
You know, and I don't know, to me, we were freaking out so many people, but we were contacting people in the name of Jesus. And so that was like cool.
Yeah.
And we got a bunch of numbers and they equated numbers to the success. And they called us about it and said, great job, you guys. And that was where I was like,
kind of,
it's not what it's about.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Sorry to derail slightly, but that was kind of where I was at.
I do get like the more numbers, the more odds that we will find someone to teach.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get that because like me and you, we both done door-to-door sales.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just got to put in the numbers.
Sure.
Yeah. So if you knock 100 doors, someone's going to get a yes and all that.
You can, through certain tactics, improve your odds, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eventually it's a numbers game.
In a numbers game, I totally get it. But in the name of doing right by serving people, I felt like that's where I got kind of, I disagreed with that.
Okay. So how did that steer your mission and your, you know, in certain companionships and stuff? Like, were most people on board, or were most of your companions like, I don't think we should go play basketball today. I think we should be doing real missionary work.
Yeah, it was more like that.
So were you pushing the issue, or were you just also as a junior companion just being like, yes, senior companion?
Yeah, it was more like that. When I was a senior companion, we'd like, especially Okinawa is senior companion, so we do more engaging stuff.
This was so let's say anything for the mission before that, before we hit Okinawa.
Yeah.
Anything else, Johnson, Flippo, anything fun or exciting?
No, it was just the mission as it is.
Okay.
Like,
mission as it is. You started in Shimonoseki. You were on one of the
Naze. Amami Oshima.
Amami Oshima. So you went
island.
Shimonoseki, Amami Oshima, Okinawa.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I was stoked.
Give me the rundown. Bro, I remember the longboard you had from Amami Oshima. Do you still have that?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember moving into Okinawa and you having that. And I was like, that is the coolest thing.
Like,
who in the world has a longboard made from wood grown on Amami Oshima?
Yeah, that was nuts.
That's cool.
Yeah. Good times.
Anything to say about Oshima?
Oshima, lots of mentally ill people. Everyone knows who you are. Dang, man, you could go across the other side of the island. They still know who you are. It's a small island, but the people are, they're amazing. I was there for 6 months. I loved it. The branch is tiny. I'm not sure if they're still doing anything today, it was good. It was good.
Okay. So let's see. So if you did 6 months on Oshima, you did your training and then you did 2 transfers with Flippo?
1 or 2, I can't remember.
Okay. So you're a year in by the time you hit Okinawa. Is that true?
A year. Yeah.
Okay. So a year, I'm in my last 6 months. Boom. Apartment on top of the Kamikiri house in Futenma. We show up. Bro, that place was like dark wood, the whole place. I remember.
Yes.
And the bathroom that was down the hallway right in the entrance. Anyway, that was a sick place. It was way dirty when I showed up.
Yeah.
I don't recall if we showed up together, if I showed up after you. Do you?
I think I was there 1 transfer before you.
And you were with Elder
Bergener.
Elder Bergener, and then you had Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Okay, because
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so sorry, Rodriguez. No, because you had Rodriguez, so it was you and Rodriguez, and I moved down there, and I was with Jace Jerry Johnson.
Yeah.
Elder Johnson.
Yeah.
Bro, I got to throw this out there, and Elder Johnson, Jace, bro, shout out to you. You were not a bad companion, but this was my first impression of you. We showed up and it was Wednesday, so it was Eikaiwa. So we showed up late night at the church and they were doing Eikaiwa. So me and whoever it was that came down, it was probably Rodriguez. It's probably me and Rodriguez.
Yeah. You guys came together. Yeah.
Yeah, so we came together. We were chilling in the sacrament room, waiting for Kyte to end.
Yeah.
And Elder Johnson comes in, and my first impression is him go,
oh no.
"You must be Elder Brower. I'm so excited to meet you. I'm Elder Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to work with you."
Yeah.
And then he like gives me this big ass hug.
Oh, dude.
And I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, this is gonna be good."
Oh yeah, dude. I love that. Yeah.
Literally, like, I just remember the, "Oh my gosh, you're Elder Brower." Like, he was either elated or about to have an accident or something. I don't know.
That's sick.
But that was my first impression. And oh man, I love Elder Johnson.
Yeah.
I feel
like first impressions, you're like, I don't know if this is good or bad. Like,
yeah. And I was
yeah.
It was,
he's a character.
It was fun, bro. I remember I remember him being on the phone and being unable to sit still while on the phone. And so we would take furniture. Maybe this was just me.
And move it.
I'm saying we would like try to box him in with the
climb
freaking
over on the phone.
Yeah.
We've done that to a few missionaries.
And we were just messing with him, trying to like put him into a corner and stuff.
Yeah.
No, we had a good time.
Yeah.
Anyway, Okinawa, you move there. This is where me and you meet for the first time.
Yeah.
First impressions of me?
Dude, I thought you were a sweet dude.
Yeah?
Yeah, like you were way chill. I think you were a district leader.
I was, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because we had the Maldens.
We had
the Malden
Maldens.
Fufu, and we had the sisters too.
The sisters. Oh my gosh.
Well, Tishimai? Was she there when you were there?
She came as soon as I left.
Bro. Maybe we got to mention that. Okay, so let's stick to us. So it was me, Jace Jerry Johnson, Kyte-kun,
and Elder Rodriguez.
Rodriguez. Bro, Rodriguez became my companion after you left. Homeboy worked.
Dude,
loved that
powerhouse,
kid.
dude.
Oh, my favorite was I'd be like, dude, I freaking love. Oh, this is fun for me. I haven't reminisced on stuff like this for a while. This is good. But yeah, Elder Rodriguez, that long hallway in the church where it'd be like, oh, I don't know if we locked the door on the other end of the church. And dude would hoof it as fast as he could down the hallway. Oh, he was fast too.
Yeah.
He would leg it down there, make sure the door was locked, leg it back. And then I'd be like on my bike and we'd be riding around the base or something.
Yeah.
And I just all of a sudden decide to kick it into high gear going up some hill or something.
Yeah.
Just to try to break away from this kid. And I'd turn around and sure enough, he's right behind me, bro. That kid was made of some meat for sure.
Yeah. And that, I mean, like as a missionary, that's money.
Yeah.
Like you need that. That guy was so serious.
Very serious.
I don't know if we like cracked a joke ever. I'm sure we did.
I remember he was damn good at playing Risk.
Oh, bro!
He was good at Risk, and that was maybe the loosest I ever saw him was playing Risk. But
I remember we'd get so pumped playing Risk, dude.
Oh yeah, if I was to like, you need to tell me about your experience with Elder Rodriguez, but just the key things was him legging it down the freaking hallway and stuff, biking like insane. Keeping up, just like we kept the rules like crazy. And I remember hearing his footsteps thunder up the stairs because we had to be back by what time? 9? Or was it 9:30?
I think it was 9.
Okay, 9 o'clock. If they were like 8:59, bro was not gonna be late.
Dude.
And he was skipping 3-4 stairs to get to the 3rd floor to bust into the apartment right before 9 o'clock.
Isn't that normal though?
It was because that's
dude. I mean, that's what we did.
When I talked to my wife, she's like, "Oh yeah, if we were like in a lesson or something, it was chill. We just like send our district leaders a little text or something."
Dude.
And I was like, "Ours was like, bro, if you were 1 minute late, you're freaking calling the district.
Calling the district leaders.
He's calling his own leaders.
Yeah.
No, he was very serious. But you move in, got Elder Johnson or Elder Rodriguez. Sorry,
Rodriguez. Nothing to note on that. Like, he was a good missionary. He was obedient. He a freaking hard worker. Maybe took things, I don't know, too seriously. Or I don't know. Like, so he actually was homeschooled. He had like 10 siblings or something crazy.
Yeah, and he's been working on the farm or whatever since he was like 4 years old. And that's just
so that's where he got his work ethic.
Workhorse.
And as a missionary, like I said, that's freaking money. He was like pumping me up sometimes to dude, some of those days were just draining. In Okinawa, the
when
sun's
it's like
out.
100 hell degrees outside,
Yeah,
and you like walk
it's-
outside and you pray before you go down to your bikes, and by the time you're down to the bikes, you're like already just
You freaking went
swampy.
swimming, dude.
Yeah.
At that point,
I had salt marks on my pants from the sweat.
yeah, salt marks, and then like my pants would turn like orange because the sun would bleach them, and the mix with the salt.
Weird
like,
times, bro.
Weird times, like because you're wearing that every day.
And you're like trying to down like cow piece. What is it? Cow piece?
Yeah, cow piss.
Cow piss, that white stuff.
Yep.
Or like a
Trying to get
CC
that
lemon.
salt back in your body.
No,
'Cause you're gonna
I
lose
think it was
that.
like, all right, an hour of Dendo and then a Combini stop, and I need some ice cream. An hour of
sit down and
Dendo,
eat.
I need a cow piece.
Yeah.
Or CC lemon, give me that.
I miss Lawson's and 7-Eleven and
Dude,
man,
it's a vibe.
it is.
It's a vibe.
You go to a 7-Eleven here, man, you're gonna get shot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, here Maverick is popping, but it's not popping
Maverick
like
is nice.
like the culture of a 7-Eleven or Lawson's in Japan.
It's
Dude,
so
something about when
nice.
you bing bing, irashaimase.
Yeah.
And,
Oh man,
dude, it's
customer service though, can't beat it.
Love Japan. All right, Okinawa. Let's see. I'm trying to think of anything else.
It was good. It was the best area anyone could ever ask for.
It was a huge change for me because had you worked with military before that?
Nope. You were in Yatsushiro.
Yeah, I was in Naka my whole mission until
Yeah.
Okinawa. So that was like my biggest. I think we were a ward even. My biggest branch or ward.
It was a ward.
So Japanese ward, and then it was the second hour of church was freaking 200 and something gunjin.
Yeah.
Bro, I was floored by that because I was in
Yeah.
like 8-person branches my whole mission.
Yeah. And you think back, that's 6 hours of church, dude.
Yeah, it was rough.
Oh my
and
gosh, how did we stay awake? I don't know if I did.
remember people catching us like in the little kitchen area in between the church hours, and you're just like trying to munch on something or like
You're
just
like half asleep.
just letting
on
it
the
hang
floor.
out or something, and somebody walks by and they're like, "You guys good?
You guys
It's like,
okay?
just give me a minute,
Dude, just an hour, please. Just give me an hour.
If I was a bean or something in that environment, when you go to bean church and it's Japanese, oh my gosh, the ability
Oh.
to stay awake is zero.
Because you don't know what's going on.
But I could at least hold with it in my
Yeah.
last 6 months of my mission, so
Yeah.
I tolerated it. But yeah, it was 6
Yeah.
hours of
Yeah,
church.
6
on
hours. An
Sunday.
hour in between, so 7 hours. Plus your meetings on top. And
It was rough.
yeah, good times.
Yeah, Sundays were the long haul, and then you got to go to the Malden.
Oh, to have dinner.
Mama
Oh my
Malden cooked you some
goodness.
dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the Maldens real quick. We actually drove 10-ish hours,
10 hours.
out to Colorado to go meet them, me, Kyte, and my wife. That was a good time.
Yep. And they're back from all their missions, or are they still out?
I think so. Yeah, we still text maybe every 6 months or a year or
that's
something,
good.
just here and there. She'll send me like a happy 4th of July or something, and
Oh,
I'll send
good.
her like, had another kid or
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
We
So
might have to drive back there with all of our kids and
So,
stuff. And
if we freaking load it up in the minivan and we send it,
no, that's what I'm saying.
it'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
You got a few too many kids though.
That's true. We might not fit.
That's all right. We can convoy the minivans all the way to
right,
Colorado.
Yeah, we'll split it up.
All right. Well, shoot, where were we? Malden's. Oh, dude, Mama Malden making dinner. The best.
Lifesaver.
And then I remember, yeah, dude, it was super chill. I think we built a pretty good friendship, me and you, I think. And
Mhm.
then, yeah, Tenkin Hapyo happened, got our calls, and I remember the APs being like, and Tyler, your next companion is probably looking right at you. And I was like,
you freaking knew.
who? And they're like, Elder Rodriguez. And I was like, sick. And they're like, and guess what? We're having 2 transfers. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're going 2-man. I'd been in 2-man my whole mission besides Saga.
Oh yeah.
Saga was my bean area. And so I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then it was 2-man, 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 2-man,
Yeah.
2-man until Okinawa. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, finally some people besides my companion. And then you guys
Yeah.
transferred out. And I was like,
Oh man.
this sucks.
4-man is good because like somebody out of the 4 has to, you got to get along with somebody, and like gives you a better chance to have a better friend.
Yeah.
More social, and not that 2-man is bad, but
We
4-man's awesome. It's a party.
Well, I'm curious. Did that happen? Oh my gosh, it's been 10 years, so it's hard to remember. Am I correct that you and Johnson transferred out at the same time?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then that means that I was there with Rodriguez by myself.
And two sisters.
And two sisters. And then it was me and my Bean-chan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Malcolm.
Malcolm. Yeah, I was trying to think of this. Luke McComb. Yeah. I was trying to.
Yeah.
Malcolm. Yeah, Malcolm. Malcolm. Or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luke McComb. I've seen him since he's been back too, and he's getting married soon.
Good.
Yeah. So I've talked to him, stayed kind of in contact because he was my bean, man.
Dude, that guy's
he killed me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ended with him last 2 transfers.
Man.
Bro, that was a good time. That was a good time.
Yeah.
I just remember they like flew us from Okinawa up to the mainland for the new class that was coming in and like to be a trainer. And everybody was like, bro, I know who your bean is. He looks just like you.
Oh gosh.
we were like,
you guys had the same
same glasses. We're just white boys with like the same color hair, about the same height.
That's about it though.
Yeah, it was a good time. I liked McCollum. That was good.
And then I had him later. I think he killed me.
No way.
I think he killed me.
No way. Okay, so
he was my last companion.
You leave Okinawa. All right, finish out your mission for us.
So leave Okinawa, go to Yatsushiro.
Oh, bro. Really?
Yeah.
That was my second area.
Yeah. So Yatsushiro was freaking cool.
It was good stuff.
Like it's Inaka. Nothing to do, but
the karaage though.
The karaage was good. The food's good.
Mm-hmm.
The people were just awesome. And it's like all fields and it's really pretty and lots of cool rivers.
And that was Yatsushiro was, oh my gosh. Is this the church that was an apartment building and your house was up top and the sacrament meeting was below? Or is that Nakatsu?
No, that's
Nakatsu.
Different.
Okay. Yeah. Yatsushiro was...
It was on top of a building though. It was it was a second floor.
Oh, bro, it was the nice place, huh?
It was
dude, it was nice because I was there with Alexander Chodo. And then after Alexander died, I killed him. Elder Needs came in. Yeah, that was like the brand new apartment with the nice like bathroom.
Oh, yeah, the apartments were way nice. It was like brand new.
Yeah, that was the nicest place I lived the whole time. Okay, so yeah, you went to Yatsushiro, sick. Okay.
And then my gosh, what was after that?
Bro, it's been 10 years. It's hard to...
I know the place.
Didn't you go to Beppu?
No, I didn't go to Beppu. Dude, I forgot all
Was it somewhere that I was in?
I don't think so.
Is that why you're pointing at me?
No.
Okay.
Can't
help you there, bud.
Because I'm an idiot. And
Kyushu or Honshu? Did you go all the way up to like Yanai?
It was near Miyazaki. But yeah, anyways... Man, it's been that long. I forgot all my areas.
It's hard.
I just haven't thought. I try not to, think about all that. No, I'm just kidding. The last few.
All right. Well, let's round it to, towards the end of your mission. Anything of note post Okinawa or
no? I just honestly, I tried my best to just finish strong, and because you're not gonna go on a mission and your last 3 months just.
Some people, bro. Not me, but maybe somebody I killed.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'm still salty, but
oh, really? Were you guys just
when you get when you call Kaicho on your companion?
Oh,
and Kaicho, you end up talking to him after he talks to your companion, and he says, "Elder, your mission, this transfer, is to get your companion to the end of his mission."
Who was this?
I was like, what a waste of time. Sick. I thought I was here for some Japanese people and for teaching the gospel, not for this loser. Bud. Anyway, I may have flipped him out of his futon a handful of times during the transfer because he just wanted to lay and sleep in.
Yeah.
And the first impression, I don't know if I want to even say his name. I might, but I show up and we've got a lesson the first day. And I'm like, sick. He's in his last transfer. This is my second area.
He's going to crush it.
I barely know any Japanese.
Yeah.
My second companion was Japanese. So I got way lucky. I had my trainer 2 transfers, and then I had a Japanese companion 2 transfers. Hajime Miyanishi Chodo. Yeah, so I had him for 2 transfers. I was in Saga for 4, and then I transferred. So I was pretty good as a 5th transfer because of my Japanese comp.
Yeah. Yep.
And we had a lesson that first time, and basically the only Japanese that he said in that lesson as a dying missionary was "so desu ne."
Oh, come on.
And I was like, I don't even know these people. I haven't been teaching them. And he's like, yeah, we've got a lesson with these people and stuff, and this is the kind of the history of what's been going on. And we show up, and I'm like, all right, senior comp, let her rip.
Let it rip.
Nothing did.
Oh shoot! At that moment you realized, man, we're screwed.
Yeah, that was my worst transfer.
So what? You just finished the lesson on?
I don't even remember. That was just
know?
my first impression of him, and it was not good. Anyway,
but finish strong. Whatever you do,
just some people don't finish strong, but I'm glad that you did. Good for you, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come home. Yeah. Anything special about coming home? Coming down the escalator? I feel like I imagined that a lot.
Yeah, my mom and my brother came and picked me up at the mission house.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
they came all the way to
the mission.
Makes sense.
And then met some other family and kind of explored like 5-6 days before I went home.
Did you have to still be a missionary?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I don't think I wore the name tag, or maybe I did.
That's just weird. Also, it's extra weird because when you come home from your mission, there's not a release. There's not like a lay your hands on your head type of release. It's just like, okay, take your name tag off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why couldn't you just do that while you're freaking there? Come on, Egan Kaicho. Tell us why.
Tell us why. I'm curious. Maybe there's a good reason. So you don't go like AWOL in Japan or something. I don't know.
Maybe, but also you take the name tag off and you're not a missionary anymore, and you go AWOL, so what?
Yeah,
you're just another white guy out there.
I don't know if I follow. I think I followed the rules, kinda. I don't know if I had my name tag on.
Well, you finished strong. Good for you.
Yeah. Okay, so we finished strong. My brother and my mom come to the mission home underneath the temple. It's underneath the temple. And I'm taking a nap on the couch because I'm freaking exhausted, like emotions everywhere. Mentally, I'm dead. And I heard the doorbell ring, and it's my mom's voice. And I don't see her because I'm on the couch. And dude, I just like weight just lifted off my shoulders. Like I knew exactly, dude. It's like, I don't want to be a mama's boy, but when I heard her voice, like,
no, after 2 years and she's right there.
Yeah. And I just knew I was done with the mission. Like I freaking did it, you know? So,
and she was going to be proud of her little boy.
Yeah. So that's, that moment is the best I've ever felt, just knowing that I was done. Not like the mission was bad, but you know, it's good to do it once, wouldn't ever do it again type of thing. You know, like, so that's how that was.
That's cool, dude. I wish I could have stayed and done something like that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be sick to take my parents to Japan.
Yeah. Have you been back? No.
I have not, bro.
My heart hurts.
I need to go back.
You planned something.
Yeah, my goal is within 2 years to go back.
Yeah.
So I want to. I just mentioned I want to take my parents, but I don't think that's going to happen within 2 years. I think it's going to be me and my wife.
Yeah.
And then
kids are staying?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
dude, it's like $1,000 for a little kid seat. Like,
I know. It's hard. They're not old enough to care, and I'm not rich enough to pay for them to come along. Yeah. And
one day.
Benny boy, my youngest, he just turned 1. And he's still breastfeeding. So in 6 months or so, we plan to probably stop. And by the time we go in a year or two, my 2 kids will both plenty be old enough to be babysat for a whole week.
Oh, nice.
By her parents
2
or
years.
mine. So
yeah.
2 years? 2 weeks? A week?
No, you're saying in 2 years.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
That's a good plan though.
Yeah, I need to go back. I dream about it a lot.
Yeah. Do you ever have missionary nightmares?
I have missionary dreams, but they're not necessarily nightmares.
Like stress.
I have dreams that I've been called back.
Oh,
I go back as a return. Like, I've been here before and I've done this, and you guys are all like first timers, and I'm a second timer.
I get that too.
It's weird. I do wake up a little bit like, oh, okay, good.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least I got to be in Japan for a sec.
Yeah. you go back to the same areas. Yeah, I get that all the time too. I've trained my brain to start just saying no. Like if they ask me to go back, I can say no. I used to I have to go.
But
Even
in your
though I don't
dreams,
go to
you actually say
church.
no now?
Yep. In my dreams, I train my brain to say no. And I used to I had to go. Even though I don't go to church now, I was like, this is the right thing to do. Like, I can feel the Spirit, and I would go. Even though I don't go to church now. It's interesting.
Well, we're definitely getting into that.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you come home, you tour Japan with your mom and your brother.
Yep.
That's sick. 5 or 6 days, a whole week.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Very jealous.
Yeah.
Y'all fly back together. And did you watch movies on the plane on the way back?
Oh, I'm sure I did. I can't remember.
You sinner.
Oh, because you were, sitting by other missionaries.
Yeah.
Did you guys? There's no way you can get away with that.
First of all,
bro.
I very jokingly called you a sinner just now. It was very much a joke and a bad one.
Because you did too.
But yeah, I watched Disney movies on my way back.
Bro,
And
you didn't even go for the PG-13
no,
stuff.
I didn't. In my head was like, you know what?
You made it this far.
I evolved as a missionary, and I was like, yeah, we're good. I feel no ill feelings about this being disobedient at all. And I'm going to watch like a handful of Disney movies, like Alice in Wonderland or something like that was on the plane. And I was like, yeah, I can watch that. But the quick story here is one of the flight attendants, when I asked for like headphones and she brought them to me, she like squatted down right next to me and she's like, what's your deal?
What?
She was being
What do you
with
mean?
like attitude. And she's like, what's your deal? And I was like, what do you mean?
Well, yeah.
And she's like, I've been on so many of these flights with so many of you white shirted, like name tag people, these missionaries.
She's calling you out.
Yeah, she's calling me out. She's like, what's your deal? Why do you think you get to watch TV and none of those other missionaries ever have? And I was like, I don't think it's a big deal. And she like the whole time, and it made this freaking 10-hour flight super awkward because she's the one that's coming down the aisle giving drinks and stuff,
so
and just like she had it out for me or something.
Dang, she knew.
Yeah, she was
it's a Disney movie. I mean,
yeah, but she was the devil that was telling me that I was doing the wrong thing or whatever. She was the
angel
that was like, you sinner,
you suck,
you're doing this wrong. It's like,
I'm good. All these people are here just raw dogging it, staring at the back of the seat. And here you are watching Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. I can't remember what else I watched, but I'm pretty sure it was Alice in Wonderland and like something else like that.
Dude, it's a 10-hour flight. I mean, come on.
It's like I didn't feel bad about it, but she like, yeah, she had a bad day or something and she took it out on me, and that was really weird.
Was it Salt Lake?
Yeah. So
she definitely knew what was going on.
Yeah. I think we flew back. So I died in Okinawa. So it was like Okinawa to Fukuoka. Fukuoka, the mission home, and did the whole ending stuff.
You got to do that stuff.
Fukuoka to Tokyo to Seattle, and then Seattle to Salt Lake. And it was like 34, 36 hours or something of travel. Yeah. Rough. Anyway, Kyte gets home.
Oh, dude, what do you want to know?
Well, we've crossed paths again, I think. So you're in St. George. I can't remember if we hung out before Zip. But your dad had or has a business that brings Japanese kids from junior high schools here to St. George, and they go to the Grand Canyon, and they go to school for a little bit, kind of fill it out, and we do a bunch of stuff. We did like UTVs at Sand Hollow and boating and just a bunch of cool stuff. So I got a job. I think we were friends, and that's how it was like, hey, bro, like my dad's doing this, and so I got hooked up with you guys for a summer. So we've crossed paths doing that. Me and you started making some videos for a second.
Yep.
Wait, you worked at Cafe Sabor?
Yep.
And you worked at the Red Lion?
You worked at Red Lion.
Uh-huh.
And then we switched.
Yeah.
I think kind of. I was doing both for a minute.
Yeah, so I think I was like leaving Red Lion basically as you were getting a job there.
Yep.
Because I feel like we worked for a second, and then I do remember bringing Sid to like Red Lion.
Yeah,
occasionally, and you were like there being bellman or front desk.
Yeah, I was doing night audit.
Okay,
and that was a fun job.
Yeah,
just watch movies all night,
And then if somebody needs something,
if someone needs them, dude, I'm asleep. You know what I'm saying?
And this is when you started driving up north because Chloe.
Yep,
you met Chloe, and
I would work overnight, and then as soon as I get off, I'd try to drive to Provo for the day, and then I had to be back for work for overnight. Oh man, those were tough.
Love makes you do stupid things.
Stupid, dude, but it was worth it. And,
y'all married and have 3 kids now.
Yep. You know how it is.
I mean, anything else between us? Can you remember anything else that happened?
Nothing crazy, and we'd still meet up once in a while, you know.
I feel like
we've been like dirt biking quite a bit, and you're 18.
Yeah. Oh, bro, we had that video that went like viral.
Yeah,
that we made. That was fun
out in Sand Hollow.
Cracked some champagne, I think, for that, and
that.
I'm trying to think of anything else.
I don't think I drank alcohol before that bottle of champagne.
Fun.
So I literally think that was the first time. That's
sorry to break you,
your
bro.
freaking fault. And we had the little glass, and I sip it. I'm like, dude, this is disgusting. Like, what the?
What, you weren't tasting the stars like other people who like champagne?
No, man.
This is terrible.
I drank it, didn't even get drunk, and I was like, wow, this freaking sucks.
And hey, maybe I was giving you a bad first experience on purpose.
Yeah.
To keep you away from alcohol.
Thank you. Yep.
And I fathom that that's not true, because we did work at Cafe Sabor together.
Yeah.
And I remember you guys would take your tips down to Mesquite after work occasionally.
Yeah.
And
so yeah, every tip that you made, 100 to 200, if it's a good day, $300, we're going to either lose it all or double it, at Mesquite.
See, I've never been addicted to gambling or hardly ever gambled at all. And I never went with you guys because we'd get off at like 11 o'clock, dude, after you finish with your silverware and stuff. Yeah. And you guys would just be like,
all right, let's go.
2 a.m., 3 a.m., let's go, Mesquite, and come back. No, I couldn't hang. So I never went with you guys.
That's good. That's good. That you don't develop those habits.
Yeah, it's bad stuff. I saw that you went gambling for, what was it, Father's Day or something?
Father's Day. Chloe and the kids were gone. I work at Mesquite every day. I'm like, well, I'm going to have some fun.
Mm-hmm. Did you make some money?
We came out positive.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we're at the point where your mission has changed your life for good or for bad. And here we are 10 years later. I don't know what else to say besides, where are you at?
That's a loaded question. Obviously I don't go to church now. And during my whole, what would you call it? Like faith deconstruction?
Sure.
My wife has been supportive every step of the way, even when she was taking the kids to church by herself.
Mm-hmm. And
I felt bad, but not bad enough to go. That sounds like I'm a terrible dad. But I just couldn't, I just felt like I told her, hey, I just need some space from the church. Nothing against the church right now. Just need to take a breather, because sometimes the church can be a lot, and I have Chloe's family who is very strong in the church. That was kind of the hard part in our marriage.
The biggest hurdle.
Yeah. No matter how supportive Chloe was, I think it was pretty hard for her family to marry someone like me. And that was pretty emotionally tough for me to get over.
So would you say that this, you called it a faith deconstruction, happened pre-meeting Chloe, during Chloe, happening kind of all the time, happened during your mission?
Well, during the mission, it was tough because, in my opinion, the church teaches that this is the restored gospel. This is the way. This is the way. And this is a whole nother topic, but it's hard to tell someone that, in my opinion.
Sure. Especially when they're Japanese.
Yeah.
And
oh
they
my
conflate
gosh.
culture and religion together as one thing.
Yeah,
And how do you tell them differently?
their religion is their culture.
I am Japanese, therefore I am Buddhist.
Yeah.
Therefore I am Shinto.
You knock on the door. Oh, sorry, I'm Buddhist. I'm Shinto. I'm like, oh, what do you practice? Oh, I don't know. So I guess LDS people are kind of like the same way in Utah, but yeah, so that was tough for me. And like I said, my goal was to do service on a mission. And in my opinion, the way the mission was structured, I couldn't do that. If I did a service project, I couldn't do contacts and, I wouldn't say me, but I had a lot of companions or other people that have clickers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've probably done it a few times. Did you have a clicker? It's okay if you have a clicker.
I never did, but that started to get a bad rap maybe like pretty early into my mission. Like I remember coming into my first area and seeing like the sisters have them. Yeah. And like I was being trained and we didn't have them as far as I recall. But kind of feeling like that was weird. And then somebody in some like district meeting or zone meeting was like, shouldn't we be treating these people like people? And then it kind of became
that's awesome.
A bad thing to have your clicker.
Oh,
and so
we didn't get that.
Okay.
So we were freaking clicking all of these guys. Come on. So,
hey, how's it going? Keko des, and then you click and they're like, oh
yeah.
Well, I'm never talking to missionaries ever again because all I am is just a click to them. Cool.
Yeah.
Great first impressions.
Yeah. So, people are rejecting you. You're just like, you know what? This is fine because I'm just clicking my clicker. I'm counting all these contacts.
Mm-hmm.
If I did a big service project, I would lose out on, I don't know, like 50 no's. Like people saying no, thank you, or whatever. And then on my reports, it would look bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy isn't even working.
You're like, but I was doing a service project.
Dude, or if I wanted to do something fun with an investigator, that's pretty bad. Like you don't do that unless it's P-Day.
Sure.
If I wanted to do that, I would miss out on more clicks, more people. But in my building the relationship with my investigator, I felt like goes miles and miles over, trying to baptize people on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. Baptismal invites, we had to do 7 a day. In my opinion, stop laughing. In my opinion, obviously, like I'm not a prophet. I'm not a mission president. So maybe I'm just not guided by the Spirit. It's not my place to say. But in my opinion, I just...
Doesn't feel right.
I'm not... This is a freaking 12-year-old boy. We're just pushing baptism. This guy doesn't even know who Jesus is.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, how would it feel? And we would try to
They don't even know
downplay
what
it.
sin is, bro.
We'd try to downplay it. Like, how would it feel like get all of your sins taken away? Theoretically, like, yes, he's going to be like, oh, that's good. Okay,
Baptismal invite done.
dude, here's a picture of Jesus getting baptized. What do you think, man? It's like, I don't know about that. Like, what you said was good, but like, he doesn't know like what he's going to get into. Baptism. Baptism is a huge loaded commitment. And I felt kind of weird just like doing it for the purpose of making my quota. And I felt like it kind of scared people away, but I had to do it. Because that's what they made us do.
Yeah.
And I try to make it as less weird as possible.
Not like Kuyara in the side.
Yeah.
Type.
Like,
no.
Hey, y'all better repent. No. Like I try to make it like reasonable, but
I
it's
think
still bad.
one in a billion people is keen enough to hear about baptism in a foreign land from a white guy in a white shirt looking at a picture of Jesus getting baptized.
Yeah.
and will get baptized and follow Christ.
Yep.
That's a 1 in a billion keen gene.
Yep.
But I think the 1 in 10,000 keen gene is probably the one that sees the white guy, has interest in Americans and speaking English. And so they come to English class, and then eventually they go, what's that? Who's this guy at the church? And you're like, oh, that's Jesus. And he's like, okay. And you don't press the issue necessarily. And then maybe he comes to Okinawa next time and you're like, hey man, you asked about that picture. Do you want to learn about it? And that's actually what we do as missionaries when we're not teaching English.
Yeah.
And you follow that path instead of I already made the joke before, but the huge white guys on the bike, stop my bike.
Yep. Big old helmets.
Talk down on you on the street because I'm on my bike, or you see me coming and you're freaked out and you're like, oh my gosh. And then you stop and they're like, and you're like, hey man, baptism. Yeah, like we're white guys. We teach about this stuff and here's this cool thing. Wouldn't that be sick? And they're like, hell no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, and it's weird.
Yeah.
It's not right. And I definitely have thoughts about what missions are for. And unfortunately, I think that missions, at least how ours was designed, let's say.
Yeah, because other missions may be different.
Yeah. But doing things that way in Japan was not for the Japanese people. I think that missions now are maybe mostly for the missionary and just like trying to
find yourself,
change them from being a Yansha 18-year-old into a strict, strictly obedient, convicted of the gospel.
Yep.
Convinced or convict, whatever, both. Come back, get married to your honey in the temple at 21 years old because you went at 18 or 19. Start pumping out kids before you can do anything bad.
Yep.
That feels like a way that it's
I get it. 100%.
Working, but it shouldn't.
Yeah, and that's just how it is. The church, when they made, was it 19 to 18? There's there's a good reason for that. They didn't just do that for no reason,
What's the reason?
Graduate high school and you can go immediately. That gap year, man, you can get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because I didn't go until I was 21, and I was like pretty straight-laced until I left. And then I don't know what to say. I don't want to get into it necessarily, but pretty quickly after coming back was the worst I've ever been as far as actions and certain things. So.
Yeah. And I'm sure you'll talk about this on other podcasts, but like what made that happen? Like right after your mission, I mean, I did this. I was the same, but not as freaking drastic as you,
I was just, I don't know. We're here to speak on things as comfortably as we care to. I don't want to push anybody into the uncomfort zone, and myself included, because there's some things that, you keep close to your chest and some things that you'd share.
Yeah.
And so I will share what I feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
The easy story is I came back expecting to marry the girl that I was messaging on my mission and thought that, I just served God for 2 years and I'm going to come back and life's going to go my way and this is awesome. And that maybe sounds egotistical and maybe it was, but I don't think that was my fuel. I think my fuel was like, I'm back. I worked really hard. I was a great missionary, or great is subjective. Like I worked hard.
You're above average.
I tried. I tried, and that's above average. I think. I tried. I worked until my last day, the last second, And so I was proud of myself coming back and was ready to just jump into life again. I already had an associate's degree before leaving, was going to come back, go to college. I was writing, funny enough, my wife.
Yeah. Yeah. And you talked about her on the mission.
Yeah. And 2 months after coming home on Christmas Adam, I called her and broke up with her.
Dang.
Yeah. So.
Oh, we talked about this. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm to, I don't want to be rude to my wife because she's my wife and we've talked about all this stuff, but I felt like she broke my heart.
Yeah.
She broke my heart and I was a return missionary and I wasn't getting what I hoped for or expected. And then,
so blessings weren't there.
Yeah. It was back mid-November on a big high, just got done with my mission. Yep. I'm back to life. I've got the love of my life essentially that I'm dating and, things are going pretty good. And then within a month and a half, we're breaking up and then I'm back to school in January.
Yeah.
So I came back just hella depressed.
Yeah.
Just no friends. I moved down to St. George just like broken.
Yep.
And just like start school and start this new life that I had all these ideas of grandeur, and then just like hit a low. And I think as honest as I'll go, my best friends worked at the Red Lion.
Oh, good. Okay.
And I was that return missionary boy that would go hang out with them, and they'd all be drinking, and I'd be like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
For a while.
Really? Wow.
And then
Robert.
And then that changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that changed for a while, and they were good friends. They weren't bad influences.
Yeah.
I made my own choices.
Yeah.
And they supported me both ways. They would let me hang out with them while they were getting crazy.
Yeah.
And they would also support me when I got a little too crazy for some of my first times.
Yeah.
And that was maybe my fall off, but it wasn't necessarily a spiritual fall off. I think I was a little bit jaded, a little bit. Maybe I wouldn't go as far as to say mad at God, but like just really disappointed and just like thrown into life so fast.
Yep.
And wasn't really ready for it. And I don't think there was a point where I was like, for what it's worth, me and my wife have a calling in the nursery right now.
You do?
Yeah.
Wait, you go to church?
Yeah.
So how did I not know this?
I don't know. So here's the thing. Like, I have not been
inactive.
I have not really been inactive. I have no reason to leave the church. I have no reason to like pull records or not be a member necessarily.
Okay.
I will be maybe brutally honest, and this is what I'm getting myself into, but my biggest reason for going to church these days is the community.
Yeah.
So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we bought a house, and our neighborhood, we barely know any of our neighbors and stuff. And I've got kids, and they're going to grow up. Where I work, there's a bunch of kids and stuff. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, as my kids grow up, they're going to know the kids from my work.
You need to put down some roots.
Yeah, and put down some roots and get to know your people that you live with, and what's the best way to do that. And me growing up, what was the best like influences I had in my life, and the people that were like steering me in the right way, they were all at church.
Yeah. And
so for me, that's the biggest and best reason to go to church right now. And it can do nothing but help me, maybe.
Yeah.
But also I have my own struggles with gospel and God and church, and understanding this life and beyond. And
and that's okay. So you're saying you can go to church and struggle and still be okay with it. Yeah.
And it's difficult. I'm kind of in a similar spot where my wife's family is very active.
Nice.
Very great people, amazing people, very active, very accepting of me, and they really appreciate my comments or my way of thinking. And it's still hard. I wish that I was like more for them, and honestly like more for my wife. My wife is more spiritual and gospel oriented than myself, and so it does feel like you're, let's say, letting them down to a certain degree, but also I can't. I'm a human too, and I have to understand and be convicted of what I am, and I have certain things that I like have grasped onto from the gospel or my upbringing or my mission or
the
whatever.
Good things.
Yeah, the spiritual experiences or the things that I believe in really solid. It's enough for me to say I have no reasons to like leave the church or be away from it or anything like that. I can still participate and enjoy gospel conversations, with my wife's family and stuff. But
I respect it. That's awesome.
But it is hard to.
It's hard for a lot of people to struggle or disagree with some of the gospel stuff and still stay in. So I commend you for doing that. 'Cause that's tough.
Mm. Well, no, I still want to be better, and I will be honest and say that as a missionary, you teach like, well, the best way to know if the church is true is you read your scriptures and you pray. And do I do that? Not really. Not really. I think I pray more often than not. If I do something, it's prayer. More so than scripture reading. And maybe my prayers feel or look a little bit different these days. And I have certain beliefs about God and church and religion in general. And it's hard to put all the pieces together nicely like the gospel has told you should.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of pieces, and it's hard to know how to put them together. And the church and the gospel has the instructions, but I'm not sure about the instructions, and so I'm like, these pieces are good. I'm going to hold on to them.
Oh wow!
But they're not organized.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. So.
But like you said, you're human. Every person is on their spiritual journey. Doesn't matter where they are. If you're struggling, that's totally okay.
Yeah. And I think my mission was hugely impactful on my life. I love my mission. I love Japan. I will legit cry when I set foot on Japanese land again. Dude, it's going to be like the best moment of my life. One of them. I've got 2 kids and a wife, so those involve some best moments, let's say.
Besides family.
Yeah, that's going to be a great day. And I mean, I think about God and religion and my mission and all that every day.
Yeah.
And it's how it's going to be for my whole life. And I'm still trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're at.
That's good. Because there's stuff that I struggle with. And then I go down this huge rabbit hole. It's like, if I disagree with this, then do I disagree with the prophet?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean the prophet's not guided by the Spirit? And am I allowed to have my own opinions? And that's so hard for me. Like mentally, spiritually, that's eats me up sometimes.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Golly. I got all excited about talking missions and stuff and sold myself down the river to talk about thick things that are hard to talk about. And I'm even struggling being the guy that was like, yo, Kyte, you want to do this sick podcast together and stuff?
Yeah. Like we don't have to talk about it now, but because that's another.
Well, that's
another,
kind of what we're here for, but yeah, it's another can of worms. I think it's, if I may be so bold as to say something that somebody in the church would have an answer for, which, quick aside, there is an answer for everything within the church. There's an answer for everything. So there's an answer for this question, but if I may be so bold as to say, I think it should be easier. I think if we are stuck in a katsuniku no karada, our body of flesh and bone, and we are human and have our flaws and have to deal with the world around us and our mind and our own bodies and the natural man or whatever, let's say. And we're also supposed to figure out God and Jesus Christ and the restored gospel and stick to that and be convinced both of that without, in my case, a whole lot of reinforcement from God or the Spirit that you're supposedly connected to, and He's your Father and He loves you. And that's been a struggle, man, for me.
Really? You think it should make more sense?
I think it should be easier.
It should be easier to get a testimony?
Yeah, and maintain one. I think if you serve a mission, bro, and you're like convicted for 2 years, that should strike something in you that is like so convicting that you're like, bro, I'm coming back and I'm going to church and I'm staying to church the rest of my life because I'm so solid right now. And I believe that there are people that is easier for. And
people have the gift.
Yeah, and I do believe that it's a gift, and I do believe that there is a God that is more so connected with people with certain gifts than I am. And maybe that I am meant to struggle.
Not gifted.
But it is hard to feel like I'm meant to struggle and then I do bad things or like don't do as many good things as I should, and that maybe my eternal damnation or salvation is at stake because of the lack of the gifts that I was given. That I don't know, man.
There's millions of people like that just thinking just like you.
Yeah, and the church has an answer. And
that's tough, man.
I'm happy for people that
it just clicks.
Yeah, and to me, honestly, I'm pretty convinced that it is more of a choice in a lifetime than it is a spiritual conviction for many. And if I am going to be a consistent member of the church that wishes for my kids to learn about it and subscribe to it and be a part of it, and is okay going to nursery and teaching little kids about Jesus and Joseph Smith, which is a trip of an experience, bro.
That's a lot of responsibility.
It's really weird. And if I was to say, I think God may be speaking to me or working with me by sending me to Japan, where I don't do anything more than just talk about God and Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
If you go to like Alabama or something, you got to learn your Bible and you got to know the ins and outs,
Yeah.
the important details. But Japan was a basics.
Yeah.
And then this guy comes to our house and awkwardly so is like doing some small talk, and he texts us beforehand and says, hey, I want to like come over and visit with you guys, but doesn't tell us why. And you're like, I think I know what he's going to do. And then he comes in and he kind of makes some small talk, and we've met him maybe like once or twice. And then it's like, everybody stops talking and it gets weird for a second. And then he's like, well, I'm here to extend a calling to you guys in the nursery. And your wife goes, yep, sounds good. And I'm like, what?
Oh, man.
You said yes that quickly? Are you sure? And had to think about it for a second. And then I say yes. And then we're in another place where me, Tyler Brower, has to teach some basics to some kids and really ponder if the basics are even worthwhile or like, true and stuff. And it's hard. I really want to take my role seriously and my calling seriously. And I don't want to say things that I don't believe to kids. That feels wrong. And so I'm on this, I'm still on the journey, man.
How have you navigated that with primary,
I haven't had too much because nursery, the little kids.
Oh yeah, nursery. Oh yeah, tell them whatever the heck you want, dude.
Yeah, nursery, the little kids. We've only been in the calling we've like done nursery maybe like 5 times.
Easy.
It's been relatively recent, and maybe 3 of those times we've actually done like a lesson from the book or something. And it was like, see this picture? Does anybody know who this guy is? And they're like, dude, Jesus. And you're like, cool, snack time.
Snack time.
Bubbles. And then your parents are coming to pick you up.
Dude, that's fun.
So
I could do nursery.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe that's, I'm not admonishing you to do anything because I'm not here to tell you to be part of the church or nothing. But
no, I respect that. That's a good balance.
This is a very unique thing for me. And if I'm to read into it and maybe pray about something, it would be like, all right, the basics have been pushed to me in my life, and what's that all about? So
I
don't know. Is there anything else to say, Kyte? You feeling?
No, it's you said it right, and like I said, like I respect you for like going to church with your questions and doubts. Like I said, that's for me. I struggle with that, and it'll just eat me alive sometimes. So the fact that you're still going and like, finishing strong.
I'm always studying the
You're
gospel.
Always studying.
I guess you could say. When I go to church, I'm not like there to necessarily feel the Spirit, let's say. But I'm there to just like listen to some talks, and maybe there's a nugget, but also I have 2 really young kids. So church is basically just a dress up to chase kids around game.
Yep.
And maybe I'll hear like a little nugget that's kind of thought provoking, or honestly, maybe somebody in Morgan's family will hear something at church and then send it in the group chat. And you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And even though I don't go to church, like I still find church stuff really like interesting, especially the further that you start to study and stuff, and good or bad, it's all interesting. So,
okay. Well, this has been fun.
It was a good chat. Yeah.
Last call, I already said it. Anything else to say? But
nope.
This is the first one, and maybe it went well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it again.
All right.
All right.
What else would we say on the next one if it was me and you? I'm going to try to invite some other people in and have them, like I said, on Zoom or something with companions that are elsewhere.
Do you have any other people you have in mind?
I mean, just from today, like, do you know anything about Rodriguez, Choto?
No.
I don't know anything about Rodriguez. That'd be fun.
I'm friends with Eller Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Chase
bro.
On Facebook.
Yeah, oh yeah. I actually just messaged him like the other day.
Okay. There's a few people.
Yeah, so he'd be good, Johnson, to get on.
Caden.
Yeah,
Johnson.
Caden for sure.
Jeez.
For sure
That
have
would be a
Caden
good time.
in. You know, I would love, me and Melissa Wilkinson have been pretty good friends.
Yeah,
Did you ever-
yeah.
So I'd love to have her on.
Bet.
I'd even like venture to have the Maldens and even like Egan Kaicho. I think it'd be sick
That
to
would be
bring on,
awesome.
and it would be hard to have a conversation with him, if I'm honest.
That would be so hard. I would love to watch it.
I think that's the whole point, though. I want to do that, not for the purpose of him to like be mission president to me, but I want to hear his experience on the mission, just like you,
and
the before, maybe like his first mission in Japan, and then his second mission in Japan with his wife, what they've been up to. Like, I think that would be fun to talk about, and like I have nothing against him, except on the mission, dude. It was so hard for me to be around him.
What do you mean?
He was so feeling.
Yeah.
And he loved me, and I believe it.
Yeah.
But bro, when we had a one-on-one or like a conference or something, and he'd just get up there and he'd just like look at you, and then all of a sudden his eyes would start to tear up and he'd start to cry. He's like, "I just love you, Elder."
Oh man.
Get me out of here.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Sounds good, sir. Yes.
Just
okay, I'm out of this room. It was too much for me.
Yeah.
I couldn't build a relationship with him because it was too much for me personally.
Yeah. Well, that's just personality
but
difference.
Good guy.
Yeah.
I was happy to go to his like homecoming thing when he came back. And I'll have him on.
I would really be curious to see like how like his perspective, how he was trained to be a mission president.
Sure.
And goods and bads.
I'm interested.
There's a lot of up and downs.
Well, if I'm to talk about him for a second, I believe like they are just genuinely amazing people.
100%.
And I don't know about you, but I get a birthday text.
Yeah. Like
same. Every year. So they took it to heart that they would love and care for the missionaries that they served. And to me, that almost touches my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
Made me feel like a little cry, you know?
It does.
Because I believe that they genuinely love me no matter who I am and who I've become. You know, they're the type of people, and so are people in the church when I grew up, and so are my parents, and so are my wife's parents. People that I wish that I could be a little bit more on the same page with.
Yeah.
But I still love associating with them and talking with them, and I can still hang.
Yeah.
I got nothing against the church. Like, personally, I haven't had some big experience that was like, "Yep, never again." Nothing like that. So lucky me, because I know that those people are out there, and maybe we'll flesh out some stories, let's say. But I really believe that they freaking loved me and all the other missionaries. And I would love to have them on and hear what they have to say about me and hear about what they have to say about the mission.
Yeah.
And it'll be fun. That will be a fun episode. I think it's got to happen.
Make it happen.
All right, dude, let's call it.
All right, let's close it up.
Thanks for doing this, man.
Thank you for having me.
I hope other people, the plan is to post a little thing on the page while I maybe edit the podcast together, and then maybe if I'm feeling confident when I make the post, I'll put like available on this day and this time. I'll probably put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And just let people click into it and watch it. And
are you going to put snippets of our thing on there to kind of
I could
get people interested?
I filmed that little thing as you were driving up that was just like, this is kind of happening. I might drop that just to make my life easier, because to like rewatch this and like choose moments from it to like clip together, that would be, if this was a job, I would do that.
Yeah.
But where this is fun and I've got 2 kids and a wife and a full-time job and stuff to manage, I might just try to put this up just kind of raw.
Yeah.
With hopefully the videos worked this whole time.
Yeah.
And with some good audio, post it up. And if people know me from the mission, I don't want to just interview missionaries. That's not, like, if this was a passion project for me, let's say, because I was interested in this and decided to actually move on it.
Yeah.
I want missionaries that either knew me or like served with me that would be willing to come on here, hit me up, and let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
I've named a handful. If you were named on this podcast or post when we just talked about it a second ago, know that your invite is coming, and I will try to figure out the Zoom stuff. My wife has done it because she manages a podcast, and I know that it works, but I've never done it myself.
Yeah.
So I'll have to figure that out. A little learning curve. Hopefully the audio and all that stuff will work well on future episodes, but that's what we'll do. All right, Kyte.
All right.
We'll let's talk after this about getting our families together and stuff. Maybe my kid is going to be over his pink eye soon,
Good,
and we can actually hang out. So.
Oh man.
All right, dog. Let's call it.
See ya.